Hey there, my name is Ben Freer and I'm an immigration lawyer for entrepreneurs. Today I want to discuss the E-2 visa processing time. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This should be a fairly straightforward topic, right? But trust me, figuring out the processing time for the post through which you plan to file your E-2 visa application can be surprisingly tricky. Whenever I talk to prospective clients, they always ask two particular questions. Number one, how much do I have to invest? And number two, how long will all this take? Today we're discussing the second question. Now, the length of the process will depend on a few different factors, including how quickly you can form your company and how quickly you can gather all the required documentation. But there's one factor that's not within your control: how long it takes the U.S. consular post to make a decision on your application. You see, each consular post deals with unique staffing and caseload issues that dictate how quickly they can process applications. For example, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, some posts had the resources to handle their backlog of applications, while others struggled to keep up with the demand for E-2 visa interviews. So now that we've covered that background, how can you find the E-2 visa processing time that applies to the post through which you are planning to apply for the E-2 visa? In the past, the State Department posted estimated wait times for the E-2 visa. This was nice, but unfortunately these projections weren't always super accurate, and they were eventually pulled from the site altogether. If you check the State Department website today, you'll see projections for a bunch of different types of visas, but you won't see E-2 visa wait times. But don't worry, I'm hoping this is just temporary. So check back whenever you're thinking about applying for the E-2 visa to see if there are any projections available. Another way to check the E-2 visa processing time is to visit the website of the post through which you will apply. Some posts will provide information on processing times, and if they don't, they'll oftentimes list an email address. You can use that email address to respectfully ask how long it will take to schedule an interview after submitting your application. But please keep in mind that many posts are overwhelmed and may not have the resources to respond. If you can't obtain this information from the post, you can always try to rely on the experience of others to gauge how long the process will take. If you have an E-2 visa lawyer, they can oftentimes tell you how long it has taken their other clients, or they may be able to obtain this information from colleagues. For example, I file a lot of cases through London and Toronto. If you ask me about the E-2 visa processing time in London or Toronto, I can tell you how long it has taken recent clients. And when I don't have any recent experience with a particular post, I can reach out to amazing and generous colleagues across the globe who can share their experiences. If you don't have an E-2 visa lawyer, you can always join groups on Facebook or other platforms where you can find some people who have recently applied and are willing to share their experience. If all other options have been exhausted, you can gain a general understanding of the waiting period by analyzing the non-immigrant visa statistics that are provided by the U.S. State Department. For instance, if the embassy or consulate where you submitted your application granted hundreds of E-2 visas in the past month, it's indicative of their efforts to process these cases and schedule interviews swiftly. Conversely, if no E-2 visas were granted, it may suggest that the embassy or consular post isn't receiving many applications or has deprioritized E-2 visa applications. If that's the case, prepare for a potentially lengthy wait for an interview. So what about premium processing? Many prospective clients will say that they have heard or read that there's a way to pay more money to have your application processed faster. Unfortunately, for those applying for the E-2 visa, this is not currently an option. However, for people who are already in the U.S. on a valid visa, they can apply for a change of status through USCIS. This type of application can be expedited for an additional fee. However, if you apply through USCIS, you will not have a visa. This is important to understand. You will just have E-2 status that disappears as soon as you leave the U.S., with some minor exceptions for travel within North America. For this reason, I discourage my clients from taking this path in most circumstances. So in conclusion, determining the E-2 visa processing time can be a challenging task. While you can start by searching on official government websites, if that approach proves unfruitful, you may want to turn to alternative sources, such as feedback from your attorney's previous clients or online forums where individuals who have completed the process share their experiences. I hope this information has been useful. If you did find this video to be helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up or sharing it with anyone who may benefit from it. Thanks for your time.